all of you to the Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. And I can't see my paper because it's blowing everywhere. So we're gathered today, of course, for the award ceremony for the New Writers Contest. This was our first ever writing contest, so we are proud that we had such a good participation. I'm Laura Templeton. I'm serve on the board here at the Arts Center, and I would first of all like to recognize some of the board members that are here. Sitting up here with me. Sitting up here with me is Barbara Barth, and Barbara is the Literary Arts Chair here at the Center, and it's thanks to Barbara that this contest happened. She put in hours of work on this, so thank you, Barbara. Well, thank you. And we have some other board members here. Paul, where's Paul? Paul is our vice president, and Nancy, our treasurer, is here somewhere, I think. Oh, she's inside. Okay. So I just wanted to recognize them. Nicole Grease is the director here at the Arts Center. This is kind of a happening place, and Hope works really hard to keep everything together. So she's going to tell us a little bit about the
Hi, thank you for coming and thank you for visiting Monroe. We hope you'll visit the other places, the great shops, the great restaurants, the antique malls. That's kind of what we're famous for. The Monroe Walton Center for the Arts has been here since 1993, so we have quite the history here. The building originally was a post office. It was built in 1932. So it's a fascinating place if you'd like a tour of the building. We've got a pottery studio in the basement. Just let one of us know. We'd be happy to walk you around, let you see the old place. We have about 60 classes every single month. Everything from obviously writing with the Walton Writers, events that Barbara runs, to visual arts, pottery, all kinds of things going on. Once a month, for those of y'all that are kind of traveling far distances but would like to visit Monroe again, once a month we have a thing we call a Saturday soiree, because we're super fancy people here. And we have drop-in classes on that day, all kinds of fun things. It's just a relaxed way to get your hands into some pottery, maybe do some watercolor, maybe make a piece of jewelry, just different things on those days, and we do those just once a month. So if you were planning a visit to Monroe, that's a fabulous time to come. In November and December, the entire gallery is a gift shop. Everything in our gift shop is made by local artists. We've got 50 to 60 local artists in our gift shop right now, and like I said, in November and December, the entire place is one Christmas wonderland. It's just fabulous, and we have lots and lots of people who actually do the majority of their Christmas shopping with us, and it's just a fabulous thing that you're directly supporting local artists when you shop with us. We have the gallery. We have 8, I think actually next year we have 9 gallery shows planned. So we have different shows, everything from community shows and our local school shows that are super popular, to a regional juried show that's kind of more of our fine arts show and a member show. So lots of things going on between the gallery, the classes, the soirees, and the shop. So thank you again, and congratulations to all of you writers who entered the contest. I was one of them, and I didn't win anything. So, and that's okay. I'm not holding any major grudges against anybody. But there might be a special plate of food in there. No, I'm kidding. So welcome to you all, and who am I handing this off to?
Okay, today it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, William Walsh. William is the director of the MFA program at Reinhardt University and the award-winning author of 4 novels, 4 books of poetry, and 3 screenplays. His work has appeared in a variety of literary journals, including 5 Points, Georgia Review, the Kenyon Review, and Poets and Writers. His literary interviews have been published in over 50 journals and include David Bottoms, Pat Conroy, James Dickey, Ursula Le Guin, and Lee Smith. His book of poems, Fly Fishing in Times Square, published in 2020 by Cervena Barba Press, won the Editor's Prize. And lastly, William was one of our first-round judges in our writing contest, and for that we are most grateful. So please join me in welcoming William Walsh.
Before I talk, I'm going to take my jacket off because it's hot in the sun. I'm going to hand it to my mom. So this is a prerequisite. When you come speak someplace, you must bring your mother. Okay? My mom traveled with me this summer back to our hometown where I did research for the sequel to the novel that's coming out in May, or actually March. So before I get into what I want to talk about, I used to never promote myself, and it's one of the worst things you can do as a writer is not promote yourself. But I just figured the world would find me, and so that's not true. You have to make the world find you. So with that, I'm going to have a shameless plug here. So I teach at Reinhardt University. I direct the undergraduate writing program and the master's program. If you are interested in writing, and if you're a young person who wants to go to college, I have a fantastic creative writing program. If you're an adult who wants to do a low residency program, which means you don't have to go to the university every day, come talk to me afterwards. The writing program is a huge part of my life because it energizes me. I have all sorts of young people who are interested in writing in the undergraduate program, and in the master's program, everybody from all sorts of different walks of life and ages. What do I teach them? I teach them all the same thing. It's all at a different level. For instance, this is what my talk is going to be about. So you want to be a fiction writer, there's certain things you have to know. For instance, there are only 2 stories you're ever going to tell. One is a stranger comes to town, and the second one is the hero's journey. There are no other stories. That's it. Sometimes you have both of those in the novel. Sometimes you just have one. For instance, I like to, since everybody knows Star Wars, I always like to use Luke Skywalker in Star Wars as an example. A stranger comes to town, it's R2-D2 and C-3PO, and they seek out Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay? And then who is the hero? The hero's journey. It's Luke Skywalker. Okay? Everything revolves around Luke Skywalker. Now, every character. Now, the best thing to do, you can have 2 characters, and usually if you have 2 main characters, it is a companion, sidekicks, like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Batman and Robin. But most of the time, novels and stories and film have one main character. James Bond, Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. Although you can have another dual group would be Thelma and Louise. Okay, so, but you want to necessarily try to avoid, if you're writing early and you're a beginning writer, have just one main character. Your main character must have 2 things going for them. They have what's called the want. What do they want? And then, what do they need? Okay, so sometimes they get both. At the end of the story, they get both what they want and what they need. However, every story, no matter what it is, that main character has to get what they need. They don't always get what they want, but they must 100% of the time get what they need. So let's talk about Luke Skywalker for a second. Oh, by the way, if you have a question while I'm talking, just raise your hand so you don't have to wait until the end, and I'll call on you and I'll answer it. So here's what happens in Star Wars. C-3PO and R2-D2 come down to the planet, and there's Luke. And then he has to go find them, and he ends up seeing and meeting Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so that's the beginning of the journey, but he doesn't know it yet. And so he ends up going back to his house where his aunt and uncle are, and he finds them dead. They're killed. And Obi-Wan says, Luke, if you had been here, you would have been killed too. That's called the inciting incident. What propels Luke Skywalker to leave? And he wants to go fight with the rebels. He wants to fight against the Empire. That's his want. Okay? And he ends up satisfying that want, but he has a need. Does anybody want to take a guess and tell me what Luke Skywalker's need is? The thing he absolutely has to come to terms with. Who his father is. He does not know who his father is. And he has to go battle who? Darth Vader. He finds out that Darth Vader, the bad guy, is his father. So Luke has to leave. There's the hero's journey. He leaves the planet. He wants to go fight. And that's his want. His need is to find out more about who he is, who his father is. And we don't find that out for a long time. That propels the story. But the inciting incident is very important. And in writing, you need to have that, if it's a novel, within the first really 10 to 20 pages. Sometimes you can get away with it being 30 pages. But within those first 20 pages, the audience needs to know, your readership needs to know what the inciting incident is, and you need to kind of let us know what his want or her want is, okay? For instance, James Bond. The first 10 minutes of any James Bond film, we've got the new one that just came out. The first 10 minutes, it's usually just a chase scene, isn't it? You know why? It's designed to do one thing and one thing only. It draws you in. The first 10 minutes. It doesn't even have to do with the plot very much. It just draws you in. You've got these scenes where he's skiing down these slopes that are impossible, but it pulls you in as the audience. And then they roll the credits, and then all of a sudden, boom, where's James Bond? He's in MI6. And they're scolding him for blowing up an embassy or having done something else wrong. But he says, but wait, I learned something, and now I know who the bad guy is. That's Ellipsis, and I have to go find Ellipsis. And they say, okay, go do that, James, but just stop blowing stuff up. And so that's his journey. He has to go find this person. That's what he wants, okay? And then, of course, the story goes on. Okay? Any questions about that stuff so far? All right, now what happens at the end if James Bond gets to the very end of the movie and he doesn't stop the bad guy? Or Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, when the bad guy is trying to blow up the world, okay? You go through the entire movie, and if at the very end he doesn't get what he needs to do one thing, which is stop the bad guy from blowing up the world. If he doesn't stop the bad guy, he blows up the world, and it ruins the movie because now there's nobody there to see it. So your hero must have a want and a need. The need has to be satisfied every single time. The want, most of the time it's satisfied, but it doesn't always happen that way. Okay, now, so one other thing you need in, say, the first 20 to 30 pages. Well, you have the inciting incident. You must immediately present to the reader empathy. The reader has to be pulled in so they fall in love with the character. Now, you can have bad characters and you can have despicable characters, but for most of your characters, you want to engage the reader by having empathy for that character. Okay? And it's not always easy to do, but most of the time, it just takes one little scene. For instance, so there's a main character, let's say she's 17 years old, and she breaks up with her boyfriend, and within the next page, somehow he gets hit by a train and he's killed. You immediately feel empathy for her because she said some really bad things to him that she did not mean right before they broke up and he ran off. So it doesn't take a whole lot. But what that does is it makes your main character lovable, you're empathetic towards them, and now you want that person to succeed. So all this takes place in about the first 20 pages, 30 at the latest, but I like to have it done in the first 10 to 20. If it's a short story, it all needs to be on the first page. You have to employ these things immediately because your short story isn't going to be nearly as long, okay? And then one of the things you have to have in your fiction writing, it's one of the most important things that everybody messes up on, and that's dialogue. Everybody overwrites dialogue. And so you have to streamline your dialogue and at the same time allow that dialogue to present information to the other characters. But what you're really doing is the dialogue is a messenger to the reader, and the reader is learning information, backstory, forward story sometimes too, but we're learning all about the main character. And sometimes in that dialogue you can also have things that make your main character even more empathetic. So those three things you have to have. You have to have solid dialogue, you have to have the inciting incident immediately, and then they have to be, you have to have empathy for that character. Those are some of the things we teach. And I teach that in writing groups all over, wherever I go. And I'll be back here next year. I'm going to do some writing, I'll do a writing seminar. I talk about all these things. It's the same thing at whatever level you're at. And so I like to tell people, look, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody needs an editor. I need an editor. I have a friend, and she edits me. And you would think, oh, I'm going to write something, and it might just be a couple commas here or there. No, I get pages where she has just X'd out the whole page and says, you don't need this. So everybody needs an editor, no matter at what level you are. Okay? What I like to teach is if you become a better editor, it will automatically make you a better writer. And as you become a better writer, you will become a better editor. And it's reciprocal. And you just start getting better and better. So the way to edit is find somebody and say, look, you edit my story, I'm going to edit yours. The reason is when you become a better editor for somebody else, it helps you become a better editor for yourself. And at some point, you're going to have to edit yourself. And that's one of the keys, is how do you edit yourself and realize something I've written is not that good, or it can be better. And so become a better editor, you will become a better writer. Okay? Any questions? Well, I was honored to judge the contest and help out in whatever way I could. And I was really amazed at some of the writing that I got to read. It was good. I like teaching people. I like showing them what they're doing right. I like showing them what they're doing wrong. But not just, hey, this is wrong, but here's why it's wrong, and now here's how you fix it. And that's the key. And teaching somebody what to fix and how to fix it, so they just stop doing that, and all of a sudden, boom, their writing just takes off, and their stories take off, and they get excited about it, and then they want to write more. And so I want everybody to be on the New York Times bestseller list, you know. So that's how you do it. So anyways, I want to thank everybody. Any questions before I'm done? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we're all here today to celebrate writers and writing. I myself am a writer, as is Barbara. And before I was published, I entered a lot of contests, and I really have contests to thank for improving my own writing. So I went to not quite ready to be published, to getting an agent and getting published. Unfortunately, I have the same problem in that I don't like to promote myself, so that is another challenge. But so it was our hope with this contest that it will also help you on your publishing journey. So I hope that you all got some feedback that you can use, and thank all of you for participating. Also, I want to say a huge thank you to our judges, our first round judges, all 23 of them. We had a great group of experienced professional writers as judges, and I think some of the judges are here. Can you raise your hand if you were a judge? Okay, great. Thank you so much. The judges all gave a lot of time. I know I've judged contests before, and you don't just read the entry once and throw down some answers. Generally, you read it multiple times. You spend time over it. You think about it. You try to give constructive criticism. And all that takes time, and they donated that time. So thank you very much. So, to give you a quick overview of how the contest worked, we had 4 genres, and we accepted up to 25 categories in each one. And each entry was scored by 2 judges, and everyone should have their score sheet. If you didn't get score sheets from me, please let me know, because those went out, I think, the first week of September. So out of those first round entries, we chose the top 3 in each category. I think there was a tie in one of the categories. And then those entries went on to Pamela Hardy, who's a literary agent and vice president of sales at the Knight Agency. And we asked her to rank those entries in first, second, and third place, and then to select one overall winner, kind of the best in show. So out of all the entrants cross genres. So what you have been waiting for, we're going to announce winners. Paul, if you want to come up, he's going to announce winners, and then Barbara and I will hand you your check and your certificate.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, William. That was very insightful. Thank you all for being here. This is a great crowd on a great day celebrating the arts. They say the health of a society is measured by the arts program. And I'd say society is pretty darn healthy here in Monroe, thanks to Hope, thanks to Barbara, Laura, and all the volunteers that put this together here. Hope is our paid staff member, but we have a lot of volunteer help to make this happen. So thank you. Unlike Hope, I did not submit my entry. I was a little late, so I kind of thought I would read it to you, at least the first 3 chapters today. So here it goes. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. How am I doing? Okay, great. No, seriously, we do appreciate everyone being here and to be part of this program. So, I tweak it. Okay, good. He's my editor now. I like that. Our first category, and our winners win cash prizes or checks they are, but they're good at the bank, right, Hope? Good. So first place prizes are $100, second place $75, and third place is $50. And our grand prize winner will win $150. So the categories are, as Laura mentioned, 4 categories. The first category is romance and women's fiction. And the third place winner is Carrie Walker for Emma's Hero. Carrie? Carrie couldn't be here, so accepting on her behalf. I'll take the check, thank you. Okay, second place is Heather Lee Johnson, writing as Lulu Johnson for Pandora's Gift. Heather, congratulations. And finally, first place in the romance women's fiction category is Olga Jackson, writing as Abigail Burke for Hunter's Treasure. So moving on, we'll move on to our second category, which is mystery and suspense. Our third place winner is actually a tie. It's a tie, and our first of the third place winners is David Rabin for In Danger of Judgment. Thank you, David. Our second third place winner is Andra Loy for The Memory of Lillian Gray. You couldn't make it. So we'll move to second place in the mystery suspense category. Second place is Sarah Stevens for The Disappearance of Alice Hawkins. And finally, the winner in the mystery suspense category is Kayla Burke Brown, writing as Kayla Brown for Chase Harlem. So science fiction fantasy, that's what I probably should have gone for, do you think? Science fiction fantasy, third place is Rob White for Bubblegum Wasteland. Second place, science fiction fantasy, is Christina Jawson, writing as Paige Reed for Reveal, The Guardians of Arelli, Book 1. That's quite a title. Reveal, The Guardians of Arelli, Book 1. And she couldn't make it. Wow. Okay, so first place in the science fiction fantasy is Anna Bright for The Blacksmith and the Burrows. Our final category is general fiction memoir. Third place is Ray Bearfield for River Music. Our second place winner in general fiction is Cheryl McDaniel Hildebrand for Up on P Hill. Congratulations. And our first place winner in general fiction is Donna Stone, writing as Donna Jo Stone for Watch Over Me. And so it all comes down to one grand prize winner, and our final award of the evening, the afternoon. Grand prize winner, overall best in show, is Kayla Brown for Chase Harlow. So I'll turn it back to Laura. Laura, thanks all for being here, and thanks for all the award winners and everyone who participated.
And I should also say that some of our contestants were from out of state, so not everyone is here. I know one of the finalists was from California, so we'll forgive him for not driving all this way. So congratulations once again to all of you finalists. Just a reminder, there's some refreshments inside in the gallery, and there's some great art inside that you can check out. And for any of you authors that live in this area, we do have an active writing group here at the Art Center, so talk to Barbara if you want some information about that. And again, congratulations and thanks for coming out today.
Well, I was writing when I was a kid, starting about the 7th grade, and other than being a very good athlete, writing was the only thing I was good at academically for a good 10 years. And so I just always wrote and kept writing, and even when I was not a good writer, I just kept at it. And then went to college and was going to be a psychiatrist, but just found my way to writing, and I found one teacher who was so brilliant, an English teacher, and I wanted to be smart like he was, and then I just turned my efforts to writing, and I've been writing ever since. Published my first book before I was 30, and then I kept doing it, and then I received an email asking if I'd be interested in being one of the judges for the contest, and I was more than happy to participate, and this has been a great event. I love your art center. It's remarkably, just what you're doing. It's beautiful inside, and just the programs are incredible.
What do you think about the younger generation? Do they seem as excited about writing as your generation, or do you see any lacks in that?
Well, the students who come to me or come to Reinhardt University, they're very excited. And they have that same hunger and excitement that I had when I was their age. So I think it probably is the same. What changes is just technology. Our technology changes. Things are quicker, faster. We want instant satisfaction with everything. We want to know immediately, is something good, is it not? Because we have just the quickness of emails and text messages. What they fail to realize, and they do learn it, is that it takes time to allow a story to gestate, you'll need a period of germination to allow a story, a poem, to live and breathe and grow. And then as you edit it, it becomes better. And it takes them a little while to understand that, because they have lived an entire generation now of their lives where everything is instantaneous, and writing is not instantaneous. Once in a while it happens, but not very often. But my students, they are just as eager as we were, and I like that. It's healthy.
And speaking of technology, the book versus the tablet or the phone, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I love the book, and I make my students buy the real version of the book. I don't allow electronics in my class. I want them to have that tactile feeling of the book in their hand. I want them to be able to. I want them to have their own copy, so they write in their book and make notes. And it may be old school, but it's an old school process that works. And they fight it at first, but then they realize, having a book, and the book is portable, and the book doesn't run out of a battery, So, I like the book. The made thing in your hand.